Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. So I had a request to look at my setup for how I actually get streaming going. And so I wanted to go ahead and take a little bit of time. I'm getting ready for a streaming video here. And so I want to go ahead and take some time talking about what you're going to use, the applications, and what my setup actually looks like for streaming. So of course, what I do is I run a multi-monitor system. You don't have to, it just makes things a little bit easier because I use this monitor that you're looking at here for kind of whatever you might see on your screen. I might pull up the web browsers in there. Right now I'm doing some things with VirtualBox, getting ready for a show in that respect. But I'll basically just have this guy set up for that. Now my other screen, which is over here, this guy is actually running my studio system. So this panel over here has OBS Studio, which basically I have this set up, and I'll probably do another detailed video on this one later on, just how you get all the settings right for live streaming. So maybe this is a two-part component, you know, what's the hardware, what's the software, all that kind of setup. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of clear stuff out this way. I have so many computers and things that I need to get rid of some of these. So my overall setup here, I'm running one computer. Of course, I keep another computer, which is just kind of out of view over here, but I keep one computer running a dual monitor system. And that's going to enable me to just kind of keep track of the stats, all the comments, run the OBS Studio without any of that interfering. And that's actually why I run two monitors. The other thing that I will have set up, of course, you need a studio light. So that's kind of what's up here, causing everything to get all dark because my screen is actually auto doing that. So let me go ahead and turn that off for a minute. What we have in this respect is you can use a variety of different things. Fairly cheap. You could actually go out and pick up a studio lighting kit, which would just be, you know, one or two different halogen bulbs with some filters over it. Those might actually work better. But what I have here is this is actually a full day spectrum LED system. That was actually from a fish tank. I didn't, if I needed a light system, I'd definitely go with the other route because it's better. In this case, I had that lighting system, so I just use what I have. And that's kind of one of the things that that you need to keep in mind is that if you're starting streaming, you just want to start with where you are and kind of go from there. Now, as far as the recording equipment and stuff, of course, you might need a new mouse pad. Ooh, there you go. But of course, what you need is some cameras. The best camera if you're going to start streaming on YouTube and doing stuff like that is the Logitech. This is the Logitech C920. There are two newer models, the C922 and I think the 930, and I forget if that other one's exactly called that or not. This camera is probably going to be your best because it can stream HD with zero problem at all. I've had no problems plugging into multiple different computers. Of course, running Linux, no issues over there. The other camera that I have, which if you're familiar with my setup, is the Kitty Cam. This one here is a Logitech C615. And this one's not a bad camera. It is also HD, but the quality on this camera is not nearly as good as this other one. Now, some people might ask about, you know, what's the difference between the C920 and the C922? I would probably go with the 920. The difference between those two cameras is very negligent, and the price of the 922 is almost double what this one is. So go with the C920 if you can get it because it's going to save you a lot of money, unless budget is no option. In which case, you know, you might even want to go for the 4K version. I don't specifically need that, so I don't bother, and I've had this camera for about 2 years now, zero problems with it. You need a good studio mic, so I'm using the Samson Meteor mic here. I should also say out front, none of these are any promotions or anything. I bought everything here. The Samson Meteor mic, I went with this one for a couple reasons. The first is the portability. You even get a nice little case with it, a very nice cloth case with it here. So you can actually put that microphone in there and easily carry that around. That's actually quite nice because I can plug this phone into my smartphone and use that as a portable microphone as I'm walking around. So this gives me a nice, convenient way to carry the microphone and the wires and stuff. Samsung is a really good mic brand. Of course, the other big one is the Blue Ball. Is it Blue Ball Company? I think, with the Yeti mic and those. I mean, you're not going to go wrong with either of those. They both give you really good sound. The difference with the Meteor mic, A, the portability. B is the Meteor mic is actually quite a bit cheaper than any of the Snowballs, and really the sound is not any different. This does have a 3-year warranty on it. I did have an issue of part of the USB port broke, but I think that was partly my fault in a way. I just went ahead and fixed it. And I think I accidentally threw away the receipt was the problem. Usually I keep all my receipts. If I had the receipt, I could have sent it in. They would have sent me a replacement. So that's a company that stands behind what they do. Very good microphone. Now, of course, I have it mounted on this stand. I got this on Amazon for, I don't know, 20 bucks or something. You don't even really need that. Oftentimes, I take the microphone off and just set it right on the desk pointing up. That does a good job. I do that on the Christian channel mostly as I'm recording because I'm looking down to read anyway a lot, so I get good voice pickup here. Versus on this channel, I'm usually talking in or talking up and into the camera, so I like upper mounting that. So that's kind of your basics, what you might need as far as the hardware is concerned. Of course, you need the keyboard, the mouse. If you get really good with OBS, you can actually set up different hotkeys. You could even get a separate keypad set up and just go ahead and, just do different things for different transitions. You could do stuff like that. So that's just kind of the basic setup. That's kind of the simples. Of course, the next things, you might want to do something like LED lights or something fancy. Now, what I'm doing here today is, if I have enough time to set it up, I should. Of course, I'm going to be recording on a green screen. And so here is the green screen. Let me just go ahead and get some recording now. I actually need to turn the light back on to get the consistent coloration I need. And let me move this out of the way. This is just a nice little camera stand. Got it for a few bucks here and there. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that out of the way there. And then, so now we have the green screen set up, and I'll just go ahead and throw this guy like that. And here's, of course, me against the green screen, which this one is really nothing more than it's kind of like a big felt thing. Got it, I think, from Joann Fabrics. I have no idea what the cost was on that. That was actually spare somebody had laying around. They're like, oh, you're going to work with green screens. Here, have one. I'm like, okay. So that's what I have there, and maybe in post-processing I'll actually edit something into this video. Hey, let's go to Mars. Hey, let's go somewhere else. Let's go to Paris. Let's, whatever. But anyway, those are kind of the basics. Fairly simple. Of course, I started with nothing more than just cheap $10 Skullcandy headphones with a microphone attached. Same type of headphone sets that used to come with the iPhones. And the camera on a laptop. And that's that. Of course, the system that I'm recording on here, I built this to be a little bit beefier of a system. And I put it together like that specifically to stream in HD while running VirtualBoxes. So I have the Ryzen 5 1600 processor in here, which gives me 12 processing threads, 6 cores, hyper-threaded. I have 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM in here. That's kind of overkill for what I'm doing. Now, depending on what you're wanting to stream, if you are wanting to stream, maybe big video games, you might need something like this. If you're just, getting on the camera and being a talking head, you don't need something, anything quite as big as this. Of course, when I'm traveling or I need to do different types of things, in which case I'll actually just go ahead and stream on the laptop. That's okay. And the kitty wants to come say hello. Hello, everybody's. Yeah. Want to say hi to the peoples? Hello, peoples. Say hi. Ooh. The kitty invasion. All right, so that's kind of my setup. You might, of course, need microphones or headphones or something like that. I could use a headphone port on the front of the computer, or I actually have an extension coming out of the back of the computer, so it's right down below me. So if I need something, I can plug into that. So hopefully that was helpful. Nice little short video on a live stream setup. And with that, I hope you enjoy switching to Linux and getting kitty cats.